All right, Jesse on fire. Welcome back. So Rampage is threatening to sue YouTubers now. I am going to give you the details of what I mean because he just directly said that. He's talking about MMA Guru specifically, and there's also been like a bunch of other stuff that's happened. You know, he posted this on Instagram yesterday, and then he followed that up again today with another one. Now, the key parts of these posts that are notable are the accompanying caption that he did with them, and people are saying that he's playing the victim. I read it, I'm like, look, I think what's going on is I think he hired a PR firm, and I'll tell you why I believe that. I was sent something from Doug Mallow. You guys remember this gentleman, the one who saved Raj's life? I'm sorry, saved Stu's life. He found, by the way, go follow him on, there we go. Now I'm subscribed too. You guys should go subscribe to his channel on YouTube. He's got this video out right now, specifically about this. And he actually told me a story yesterday that we're going to go through in a separate video about the backstory behind this of like, so you remember when he first referenced that Stu had a problem with AJ? You know, because it was like, oh, well, it's too much coincidence that, that the guy's got a problem with Stu, and then he brings this lunatic in, and then he's like, hey, give him a real shot. Give him a real shot. And then he goes in and does that. He's like, just seems too coincidental. So the backstory behind AJ's problem with Stu is very notable, and we're going to go through that probably in a separate video. But on this one, I want to go through the things that I outlined already, and then I want to show you guys this because 1 million people sent me this video, right? Which is Harvard lawyer and pro wrestler breaks down Raja Jackson attack, okay? And he is saying that in this clip right here that Raja has completely hung himself out to dry. That like criminally, he's done because of the clip that we're about to look at right now. I'm going to show you that. We're going to talk about it. And then, like I said, we'll go through the Rampage threatening to sue YouTubers and his posts. But I wanted to start here. Now, go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. I appreciate you guys doing that. If you haven't subscribed, you could do it and like the video or don't. It's up to you.
It shows that he has the mens rea for criminal culpability. See what you think.
But I will tell you guys this. They told me to hit him and just leave. Somebody will pull me off of him and leave. I'm telling you. I'm going to hit him as many times as I can. Watch. I'm not going to fake it. Exactly. They don't want me. They don't want me in there for real because I'm not going to fake it. Watch. And then as soon as I do what I'm doing, I'm leaving.
Wow. Did you catch that? I really wanted to give this kid the benefit of the doubt. But hearing that, it just makes my stomach turn. Like, it irritates me so much. That shows that this was premeditated. He even repeats to chat what his instructions were to get in there.
Yeah. And let me also just point something else out, all right? Like, the part of Guru's video that I thought was so sticky is the part where he showed Raja saying that he would trade followers for knockouts. So how about I think it was followers, right? He's like, I'll get 50 followers if I go in there and I knock him out. You're like, bro, what are you doing? Like, what on earth are you doing? Because there would have been a world where Raja would have had a pretty legitimate defense had he not done that, right? Where he'd been like, look, they told me to go in there and hit him. I'm sorry, I misunderstood, they gave me instructions. I'm not a wrestler. But he's just on there just directly said, he's like, they told me to go in there and hit him once and then get pulled up. But nah, I'm going to do it for real. I'm just going to keep hitting him, which means he understood exactly what he was supposed to do. And this was something he was choosing to do separately. They got to ring him up, dude. And so I wanted to use that as the front side of this video, because now we're going to get into things that Rampage are saying. And it's like, dude, like, just stop, man. Like, Rampage. I love Rampage. I have never seen Rampage fight where I was not rooting for him. I've rooted for him every single time he's ever fought. I think he's hilarious. I remember one time I was at this little show, like underground MMA show in San Diego, probably like 2007 or something like that. And I was a huge Rampage, like, Pride fan, and he was sitting right in front of me with his kid, and I looked, I was like, oh shit, that's Rampage. His head was this big, dude. He had the biggest head I've ever seen in my entire life. Okay. So I'm not talking shit about Rampage, but what I'm saying is like, don't let your instincts to protect your kid cloud your judgment in how to go into this. Cause like, there's no defense here. Like there is no defense, right? And as it relates to MMA Guru and the lawsuit, I'm going to show you what Guru said. I'm going to show you what Rampage said. And I'm going to tell you whether or not there's any reasonable culpability here as it relates to defamation, which is what Rampage said. So let's move over here and look at what Rampage said about suing MMA Guru. And I will tell you whether or not there is any case here, because I can pretty well tell you whether or not he has a case. All right, let's do this thing. And I'm going to...
Rampage Jackson spoke on the Raja and Psycho Stu situation last night on stream. Rampage said this whole ordeal would have never happened if Stu kept his beer can to himself. He also addressed the MMA Guru and says that with some of his recent comments, he's opened himself up to defamation of character.
Why did everyone...
Okay, hang on. I want to show you what Rampage said first, because that way when we go through what Guru said, I can tell you whether or not what Rampage said is accurate. Okay, so I'm flipping the order. I don't know why they did it in this order. So this is what Rampage said first, and then we'll go back to what Guru said, and I'll tell you whether whether Rampage is right or not.
Bad guy, you know. It is what it is. I said words.
Roger could have went to the police and shut him down. They're not supposed to be drinking and doing God knows whatever else they doing in the locker room back there. And they've been having problems with that guy before. And days went by. I wasn't supposed to say anything because of attorney, but I got people like threatening me.
Okay, first of all, what he's referencing is he's saying that they've had problems with Stu drinking before and then like bullying people in the locker room. And again, that's not true. Okay, that's not true. Where they're getting this stuff is they're getting it from that dude AJ, okay, who I have now verified in multiple areas. Like, this dude's not a good source of information, and we're going to get into that story in the separate video that I referenced about why AJ and Psycho Stu had the personal issue. And I mean, barring any part of that story, you know, being wildly off base, it's like, this is a consistent thing that AJ is going to tell Rampage this, and it's just not like there's no one is verifying this at all except AJ, where it's like, who else is saying they've had a problem with Psycho Stu backstage? No one except AJ. And why would AJ tell you that? Because he's culpable in this also.
Man, talking about other kids, that's too far. Like they never should have brought race into it. A man went too far and hurt another man, but the man that got hurt. It could have been avoided if he would have just kept his beer can to himself. People keep saying, it's a proper beer can. No, it's a real beer can. The beer can...
Again, it was a real beer can. That's correct.
It didn't hurt, but it was a real beer can. They was drinking.
I got people like MMA Guru telling me to stop streaming, and he trying to dig up the past and stuff, and he opened himself up for defamation of character. He's a idiot. He's talking about the time when I got in that car accident, and he's twisting the facts. Like I've already that's old. I already like did interviews about it and told everything, and I never was speeding. It wasn't a high speed chase. Didn't crash in the back of somebody going 60 miles per hour, and no one had a miscarriage that day. And only thing I did
that day, I didn't catch that the first time. He said no one had a miscarriage that day. Now, listen, I'm not saying I don't know anything about that case. Nothing at all. The only thing that I know is that someone brought it up to me in the comment section. I'm like, why are you bringing up shit that happened like 17 years ago or whatever? Or I don't even remember. It was like old though. Like that case happened so long ago. And again, like it doesn't matter, whatever. But bottom line, I'll let him finish.
My damage I did was hit a side view mirror. That's why I didn't get no time, but I did get 200 hours of community service. So what I did was I went to different schools and I talked to young kids for 200 hours. I talked to young kids and told them about the street.
MMA Guru's like my old neighbor. I had to bangs wires to cure his racism.
I ain't gonna lie, homeboy looks like he got insecurity problems. Like he wear the same like little beanie and stuff all the time, and you know,
Bros just hit
like one of those guys.
Want to squat up on Rainbow? I'm Emerald too.
He I squat up on Rainbow. He you know, he's like one of the insecure guys. You could tell he got like small energy. You can tell, like, people like that, they hate themselves. And he loved the sport of MMA.
Fresh 9.
Those people be hating on us because they can't do what we do.
Did you and Christine?
So, okay. A lot to unpack there. Number one is I don't know anything about that story. Nothing. Okay. So, but what he said was that he said he opened him up to defamation specifically. Okay. That's the lawsuit that he's talking about. That's what people are talking about here. Defamation of character. And he says it's dumb. Like, obviously, the only way that defamation matters is if you're going to sue, right? But so the question is like whether or not there is anything to sue for, which I'm going to go through right here. This is exactly what Guru said on his stream. And the first thing that he says is not a statement of fact. He is reading a chat that someone wrote to him. Okay, so he says like Rampage hit some woman and she had a miscarriage. That's not him saying that. That's him reading a chat, and then the rest of it is his response to that chat.
Defamation of character.
Why did everyone forget that Rampage led a high-speed chase in Baby in 2008?
See that. So like if someone was going to try to clip that and they go, why did everybody forget? Why did everybody forget that Rampage got in a high-speed chase and killed a baby? Okay, that right there, if that was the only statement that he made, that would be that would absolutely be serious risk of defamation of character. Okay, if that was the only thing he said. But he was reading a chat, not stating a fact. So if you show the whole thing, you're going to see he's reading a chat and then he responds to it. And he makes very clear in his response that he doesn't know that much about the case, and he completely, absolves it. There's no way you can get him for defamation on this, is what I'm saying, because that was him reading a chat, and then listen to how he responds afterwards.
I didn't know he Baby, and I'm not sure that he did, but they say that he hit a pregnant woman who then had a miscarriage, right? That's the story. Rampage on July 15th.
Okay, again, they say. Right? He goes, they say. He's like, I'm not saying that. That's just a rumor that I've heard. Believe me, I use this all the time to talk about things where I realize, I'm like, if I just say this is a thing, I'm going to get cracked for defamation. And the way that you do that is you source the information. You read it somewhere. You're like, look, this is what this says. This ain't me saying it. This is what this says.
2008, Rampage Jackson's arrested after a police chase where he crashed multiple cars, causing a woman's miscarriage. But they say that there's no way of telling if the miscarriage was because he crashed into the pregnant woman with a vehicle full speed. So you can't genuinely get him in trouble for that. So I don't know if you can make those claims because you
look. I mean, there's definitely no defamation of character. None. This is like, and if you're ever going to talk about things like this is how you do it. He's actually like kind of textbook. Like this is how you talk about those things if you don't want to open yourself to that.
She had the miscarriage like a little later, like after the event, But I guess you can't make the full claim because who knows what caused it. It might not have been the vehicle crashing into her full speed and in the middle of a police chase, But it's all good, man. I'm the bad guy, It is what it is.
Okay, so that's what that is, right? There's no case there. And again, I feel for Rampage, dude. I do. But now we're going to get over here and see what he said on Instagram because this is really important. I'm just going to read this and then we'll kind of go through it. Okay, so he says, this has gone too far. I'm sick of being quiet and letting all the low IQ people fall for clickbait. Yes, my son took things too far and I'm pissed at him for being a piece of shit and the way he handled it. But if Psycho Stu wasn't drunk and wouldn't have hit my son over the head with a real beer can while he was live streaming on his own stream, then Knox wouldn't have felt like they had to make things right by letting Raja get his get back in the ring. If my son would have just went to the police when the beer can incident happened, then the whole event could have gotten shut down and he could have sued. I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true. But at the same time, like, he still shook his hand, said, cool, yeah, we'll do this later. Then on stream directly said, they told me to just do this, but nah, I'm going to go do this. Okay. And I will keep on saying this over and over and over and over and over. If you wanted to attack the guy for hitting you with a beer can, that's fine. You do it right then or you don't fucking do it. Okay. You either hit him right there or you don't do it. If he hits you with a beer can thinking you're another wrestler and Raja lit him up, who's going to argue with that? It would be a funny story, assuming that no one gets seriously hurt. Be like this dumb fuck drunk ass idiot came up and hit Rampage's son with a beer can thinking that he was a real wrestler and Rampage's son, stretched him. Like, yeah, that would be a really funny story. Right? But no, Okay. Instead, it turns into this nightmare for everybody involved. Well, nightmare for Raja now, I guess. Stu's got a GoFundMe with $250,000 in it, which is not enough, you guys. Everybody should keep on donating that thing. And, but again, you wait 2 hours and then you say to your hey, I'm going to do this, man. It's so dumb. Okay, but no, my son is not as smart as I'd like him to be. Now, my family and I are getting racist threats because of all the misinformation being posted so content creators can get paid from viewers. I mean, Rampage, I love Rampage, dude. I'm not trying to break his balls. But, this is what you do too, dude. You're on Kick, right? Get paid for views. And, I'm sorry, but if you look at the equation like this, Raja does this first time ever crazy ass attack on this guy, and YouTubers are making videos about said attack with the information that has been made public here, there, or the others. Like, if they get things wrong, the problem is not the YouTubers. The problem is the fact that the kid went in there and beat the shit out of the guy. You know what I mean? People actually think my son snuck in a ring in front of a live audience, picked Stu up without permission to be there. I don't think anybody thinks that, actually. At least no smart people do. Get smart people. It was staged, but Raja took it too far. He only shook his hand and accepted Psycho Stu's drunken apology because they said he could get in the storyline. He was told to fuck him up. Well, he was told he could, quote, fuck him up. Listen, if that's true, that's a big problem for anybody who wants serious repercussions for Raja. I'm going to tell you that right now. If you have proof of that, if you have proof that the organization said go in there and fuck him up, that's going to be bad for everybody. Well, it's going to be fucking great for Stu if he wants to sue a bankrupt wrestling organization. You know what I mean? Because that's what that does. That gives cause for Psycho Stu to just annihilate that organization, but they're not going to have money for him, dude. Anyway, I have witnesses that say this isn't the first time Psycho Stu has done some drunk shit backstage to a fan. That's not that I had talked to Doug Malo about, and he was like, that's just not true. He's like, that's whoever told him that, it's probably AJ, and it's not true. Now we have the backstory that my son attacked an innocent military vet with PTSD, like my son knew everything about the man that came up and hit him from behind and asked him to sell it. Wait, what? Like my son knew everything about the man that came up from behind him and hit him, then asked him to sell it. Right. So he thought he was a wrestler. It was a misunderstanding. Right? I have other kids to protect, and I don't take kindly to threats. I'm not scared of prison or dying for my kids. And calling me names won't hurt my feelings. My son should face the consequences if we're going too far. He knows better. That's it, dude. That's all he has to say, dude. Is like, I love my son. He made a mistake. He should face the consequences for going too far. He knows better. That's it. You know? And also, if he wants a story to die, stop talking about it, dude. You know? Honestly, like that, my genuine advice to Rampage, because I love Rampage. Look, this is no good for me. I'm a YouTuber, dude. Every time he talks about it, anytime there's a new story about it, boom, I'm going to do a video. It's going to get a bunch of views. But like, as a father and as somebody who respects Rampage, my advice is to stop talking about it, you know, because then it'll go away. Nothing stays in the news cycle forever, dude. Look at the Epstein stuff. Okay, everybody thought, oh my God, we've got a turmoil in the White House, and he's covered like that. That story was like that was never going to go away, right? Except wrong. I knew it'd go away. Everybody knew it'd go away because there are no stories big enough to survive multiple news cycles. It's crazy. I mean, well, that one made it through like 3 or 4. It's honestly nuts to think about. But you can use it to your advantage if you end up in a jackpot like this. You just shut the fuck up and it'll go away. That's why he didn't tell me anything about the storyline, but Psycho Stu is lucky I wasn't there when he hit my son over the head with a beer can. The day after he got a concussion from sparring the day before, I wouldn't have cared about a bunch of pro wrestlers who would have jumped me. I'm a father first. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Let's all learn a lesson. Keep our damn hands to ourselves. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now. Rampage would not have done anything when he was there, and not because he's a pussy, because he's not a pussy and he's smart and he's not an overreacting weirdo. You know, now he says that because of what this thing turned into. If Rampage would have been there, like Rampage would have been like, he would have gone up and been like, what the fuck are you doing? They would have been like, You know what I mean? There's no way Rampage is going to attack a guy for something that's stupid, which was clearly and obviously a wrestling thing. There's no, he didn't hit him hard. He didn't like whatever. I still think it's weird that Raja just allowed him to hit him. That's why I still question whether or not that was organic. Either way, though, Rampage, and I mean this like, I'm saying this like I respect Rampage for the same as as a, kind of lesser example when Bisping got punched in the face by that dude in New Orleans, and he just let it slide because he's there with his family and he's a pro fighter, and like, who knows, if the guy's that crazy, maybe he's got a gun. You're not going to put your responsibility as a father is to protect your family. Okay. If you're in an environment where your family is there, you are the head of the household. You need to protect your family, however that is. Okay. You hear protect the family, you assume that means like violent response. It can be the exact opposite of that. Okay. If punching a guy back is going to lead to danger for your family, then that's the opposite of protecting him. That's you being too, emotional and short-sighted to recognize what the correct strategy is in that situation. So I don't think Rampage would have attacked him. I think Rampage would have they would have figured out real quick that it was an accident. Then Rampage would have just calmed his fucking son down, And then on this one, he says, I'm not justifying anything. I'm going against my attorney's advice by talking about it, but people seem to think Raja wasn't allowed in the ring. Hopefully the threats to my family members will stop after this. This will be my last post about it. This video is still only an edited clip to stop some of the misinformation. Raja is still a piece of shit for what he did, but he's not the only person that handled things wrong. Raja is the only one I'm disappointed in this situation. Psycho Stu didn't deserve what happened to him. Everybody knows how much love and respect I have for our military and our veterans. Raja had no idea who Stu was. And yeah, I mean, dude, Rampage is good fucking people, man. Bottom line. I love Rampage. This whole thing makes me like him even more, to be honest, dude. I just think he's handled this really, really well. Like, it's a very challenging situation to be in if you're Rampage, dude. And I think he's handled it really, really well. Anyway, that's what I got for this video. Subscribe to the channel, ring the bell. Bye-bye.